Okay, lovely to see you all today. I'm going to blast through this presentation probably fairly quickly, going over a little bit of the research that we've been doing counting cats in the arid zone. All the work I'm talking about, it's been occurring on Matuwa, and I've been building on work started by Dave, cat team. It's been going on for a while. But before I go ahead, I do want to acknowledge our collaborators, Waluna Maru, Tauka Manawa Piaku Aboriginal Corporation, who work alongside us doing a lot of this work. Okay, so where's Matuwa? Some of you might know it as Lorna Glen. We now refer to it as the local name. It's a rather big area. We're talking 50 kilometres by 50 kilometres. Almost dead centre of WA. We're about an hour and a half minimum from the nearest town of Waluna. We've got two IBRA regions. The southwest is predominantly Spinifex sandplain. The northeast is predominantly mulga woodland. You know, we've got a few some breakaways, some salt lakes, some calcrete exposures mixed up in there, but two major land system types. And since 2003, we've been using two main techniques for monitoring feral cats on the property. We have what we call the track activity index, which if you're looking at the red and blue lines you can see up there, those are just some of the transects we've been using over the years. And then camera traps, which we do move around. So there's a whole bunch of camera icons up there. We've got black ones, cameras spread all over the property. Then there's a grid that we've used for a couple of years. Okay, so what's the track activity index? Well, we basically use the pre-existing vehicle tracks on the property where the blocks out there roughly 5 kilometres square apiece. And we're pulling a piece of metal, whether it be a heavy iron drag or just an iron chain along behind a vehicle. And we're turning those lovely sandy tracks into a nice blank canvas. And then someone gets the lovely job of getting out of bed at dawn and driving along those tracks rather slowly, looking for cat tracks. We do make some assumptions about this. Basically, any cat tracks that occur within 1 kilometre area, we assume is just one cat meandering around the place. We then go for at least 4 days, clearing that canvas every day, going out, counting our cat tracks, because we're also assuming that not every cat's going to cross a road every night. The track activity index, that's something we've been using since pretty much the beginning of doing science out at Matuwa. And Dave and the lovely cat team, they got some initial estimates of 26 cats per 100 kilometres of track. So it's a rather long transect that we're ultimately doing. They did a lot of great work, some trapping. The baiting started in 2003 and started to go for the entire property by 2007. And as you can see with the lines up there, they really knocked down those cat numbers. You'll see that black dashed line that's horizontal there. That's a somewhat arbitrary threshold of where we want to push the cats beneath that. We want to push it down below 10 cats per 100 kilometres. Generally pretty successful. Eradicat baiting went across the entire property in 2007. But some of you might be noticing that orange line bounces around a fair bit, and by about 2012, started to sneak up on us. That's a little bit concerning. We don't want it going back up there. So we started a new round of research in 2018. We're also using camera traps, like so many people. Yeah, what do I say about that? We lure our cameras, is probably the major thing. And I have a minimum of 120 cameras that we use across the property, and we don't have a duplicate site to Matuwa. Matuwa is a little bit hard to duplicate. There's a property to the north, Karara, decided not to go there. They've got some different habitat types. Jundi to the west, it's fairly similar habitat types, but it's managed by a mining company, so there's a completely different management history going on there. All of our cameras, we don't actually have them on the track. We keep them at least 30 metres away from the track. Well, we've got the track activity index to monitor what's happening on the track, so we don't really need the cameras to be looking at that. Oh. Okay, but why are we trying to count cats? Well, it's an obvious answer, that one. We want to know if our conservation management actions are having any impact. As others have mentioned, over the course of the last couple of days, we're using Eradicat to manage cats. So since 2007, we've been doing the aerial baiting, which is 50 of those baits dropped at every 1 kilometre. We do that in the winter. And we do basically pre-bait and post-bait monitoring just to see what sort of an impact it's having. So is it working? I did briefly mention I got ahead of myself there a bit. Yeah, early years it was working great. We pushed it down below that target threshold, which work that actually came out of arid recovery. Shows bilbies are okay with a low number of cats, and a lot of people who know anything about Matuwa would know that our bilbies are doing absolutely wonderful things out there, as are brush-tailed possums, and then in our really low cat number years we start to see some golden bandicoots and booties that are jumping out of our fenced area. 2012, cat numbers started to go up. We never stopped baiting. We've been baiting every year. So that's a little bit concerning. What on earth is going on there? Oops. Okay, so started a new round of research. First hypothesis I was presented with, should we be doing ground baiting instead of aerial baiting? Split the property in half. There's a blank area you can see through the middle there. That was our buffer zone. We didn't do any baiting as a way of getting 2 treatment areas. Basically came out, aerial baiting was more effective in terms of knocking down cat activity, but both techniques actually worked better after a round of leg hold trapping. And what did that tell us? Well, Dave and his team, they went out there, did a huge round of cat trapping across the entire property, took out 259 cats in 3 months. And it appears to have jump-started our system. So you can see a few points there in 2020, 2021, and our cat numbers have gone right back down again. We haven't continued trapping. There was just that one phase there where the guys went out and took out a bunch of cats. What's that telling us? Well, one thing we did notice was that the trapping from the first month when the guys were taking cats out through the last month, we decreased the proportion of large males that we were catching. So the hypothesis that we came up with from that is that cats that are very effective hunters probably have less need to scavenge, probably less inclined to take bait. So when you're looking at cat activity where you can't tell the difference between an inexperienced cat and an experienced cat, it suddenly looks like your baiting's not working. But yeah, so cat control, it's a long-term management action. We're obviously going to go back there every year. Nice research aspirations. We've got cameras everywhere. Let's just start getting that true estimate of abundance or occupancy. Well, the cats stopped appearing on cameras. In 2021, we got a grand total of 5 photos from 130 cameras. So that one didn't work. Track activity index, though, thankfully still using both systems, and we were getting cats on that system. Why was our rather basic track activity index picking up cats when our cameras weren't? Well, it's pretty simple. 100 kilometres of track transect, you're covering about 3 times the land area that 130 cameras can cover. And you're doing it for about half the cost. So, how do we improve camera detections? A little bit important, lots of people trying to use occupancy, trying to use SECA to estimate abundance. You need to be getting 20 to 30% detection rates before those systems will work. So we do want to be more effective at getting those cameras to pick up cats. So we're trialling out some lures. Interesting results, catastrophic, lovely little substance there, is our standard lure, or has been in the past. Decided to mix it up. We've got some drippers from the US which will disperse bait or disperse lure over about 2 weeks. Some rather significant results there. We went from 8 pictures of cats on passive cameras to 78 pictures of cats on catastrophic cameras. These were all done in a paired design, so same areas, same time. And cameras in front of our drippers got 263 photos of cats. Time that we got, passive cameras, we got about 3 seconds worth of time in front of a camera. Catastrophic, we're up at about 8 seconds, and the drippers were getting 65 seconds. Dramatically changes your ability to recognise those individuals. I can't tell who that passive cat is, but our dripper cat, I've got a really good idea of who he is. But anyway, this work is ongoing. We've got some more trials that we need to run, so I don't want to leave people with any conclusions, just rather some questions. How many cats are you getting on your cameras? Could that change, and would that change any of your management decisions if you changed up your lures? Thank you.
Thanks, that's great.